Well, hello everyone. So today I have a story to tell you. It's one of those stories that somebody may say, you had to make that up because I just can't believe it. But either fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't make it up. It really happened. So on this channel, I intend to keep it real. And part of that is talking about times when I fall on my ass, because I do believe there are learning experiences and lessons to glean from those, and even times when I just feel a bit like an ass. And this story is the latter. So, this past Saturday, myself and my friend Kara, hi Kara, she knows that I was going to be telling this story and completely encouraged it because it is that entertaining. We went out to dinner. We're going to go to a movie. I say going to because we didn't make it, and part of this story is why. So we get to the restaurant. I was driving. We stopped the car and I say, hey Kara, would you throw the locks on the door? What you guys don't know is I own an older car and the automatic all door lock mechanism on my side doesn't work. So I said, hey Kara, would you get that? We get out of the car, go into the restaurant, have a great meal, great conversation, grand old time. Then, just as we're leaving to go to the movies, I pick up my purse to look for my keys and don't see them. Now, if you know me, you would know that at times I have trouble finding things in my purse. This is a tiny purse, so I really didn't have a lot of trouble on this one. There are times that I have gone to look for things, and for instance, my mom is with me, and I'm like, I can't find my phone, or I can't find this or that, and she says, hey, just look, I'm sure it's there. And 9 times out of 10 it is. Well, this time, I have a pretty hefty set of keys, and this was a tiny bag, and I did not see them. Pulled things out, nowhere in sight, picked the purse up, keys are nowhere in sight. So finally I say to Kara, I can't find my keys. So she looks under her bag. She looks just in case she grabbed them. No dice. So we talk about it, and she says, well, maybe you dropped them in the parking lot. And if you did, I'm sure somebody brought them in, or maybe they're by the car. So I figure, I'm a little nervous at this point, but I said, okay, So we walk out to the car, and several steps out, Kara looks at me and says, your headlights are on. Yep. It gets better, folks. So, we walk over to the car, and I lift the door locks. They're locked. Yes, I left the car running, and I left the keys in the ignition, and she locked the door. I asked her to. Not Kara's fault. All I could do was stand there and laugh at the absurdity of this. I looked at her, cracking up. She laughed. We just made it a grand old time, because what else could you do? It was done. And of course, trying to be as nice as she was, she looks at me and says, I didn't notice it was on either, so couldn't have been that obvious. So I'm standing there thinking, what are we going to do? Well, as it turns out, and I figured this saved my hide, my housemate should have been home. And I leave a spare key on the door going into the garage. So I figure, oh great, I'll call and hopefully housemate's there and they can bring me the key. So I call housemate, laughing, Kara and I both laughing, and I explained what was going on and said, hey, can you bring me the key? Housemate, after explaining to them and giving them directions where I was, says, okay, fine. So what happens next is I figure, okay, housemate's a little slow. It's going to take some time. At the time, it was hot and humid, and there was lightning seen in the distance, and a couple of strikes were getting closer. And knowing that locally there were a few people that had been injured by lightning strikes recently, I said to Kara, let's go somewhere away from all this metal. So we go and we sat by some benches right outside the restaurant, talking, having a grand old time, just talking in general and just laughing about this whole situation. And as it turns out, some members of Kara's family were there. So they came out and, she introduced me to them, and talking and laughing, etc. And minutes after they arrived chatting with us, my phone rings. I pick it up, and it's housemate saying that they went to start their car and their headlights weren't turning on, so they were unable to bring me the key. Now, you do remember, this is not just a case of I had the keys locked in the car. This is a case of car was running. So, what to do? So, at the perfect moment, in an imperfect situation, Kara's family had shown up. Kara explained to them, without mentioning at the time, that the car was running, that I had locked the keys in the car and that housemate was supposed to bring the keys. And then I added in that, oh, hey, housemate called and this is what happened. As lovely as they were, they said, hey, no problem. We'll take you back to the house and then we'll take you back here and you can get the car. Problem solved. So I climbed in. We had a nice ride. They are the loveliest people. So Laura and Jim, if you're watching this, hello, and thank you for saving my hide. On the way to the house, housemate calls me and says, hey, started the car, played with the headlights, they're on. So I figured, oh, okay, at least I can save Jim and Laura the trouble of driving me back. But then I thought about it, and headlights are finicky things. So in the end, not wanting them to drive away, and then for the headlights, the next time housemate started the car to go off again, they ended up driving me back. Went in the house, got the keys, went back and got my car, and other than it being completely hot in the car from having the engine running all that time, it was fine. As it turns out, and Kara even commented on this, and she will attest to it if she's watching this video, she had said to me, oh, you still have enough gas in the car. And that may sound like, okay, why wouldn't you, to those of you watching? But I do sometimes have the car at about a quarter of a tank or lower, and then I'll go and get gas, because I do a lot of just local driving. I don't really do a lot of long distance at this point. And as it turned out, I had just put a decent amount of gas in the car the day before. So there's another fortunate happening in the middle of an unfortunate event. So yes, folks, I not only locked the keys in the car, but the car was running. I was honestly hesitant to tell this story because I'm thinking, what kind of an ass do you look like? But you know what? We all have these moments. I actually, at the time this happened, called it a capital dumbass moment. We all have them. I'm sure right now you're sitting there laughing at this because you can laugh. It's okay. I won't be offended. And maybe remembering a couple of your own where you just forgot something or did something as silly as leaving a car running and locking your keys in it. I don't know. But yes, it happened to me. I'm not making it up. I am a writer. I do write fiction, but this is not a work of fiction. It happened. So all's well that ends well, though. My takeaway from this is basically that, number one, stuff happens. Even stuff that makes us feel stupid. And the only thing that you can do, because it happens, is to laugh at it. Why not? Get some good at it. And then to do what you can to remedy the situation, which did happen. And the second is that sometimes when these unfortunate events happen, there are fortunate events that happen in the midst of them that help make everything okay again. And I have to tell you that even despite all of the craziness that ensued after I discovered where the keys in fact were, I had the best time because Kara and her family made it just part of the fun and totally helped me out. So thank you guys for that. But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is just embrace the craziness. When stuff happens, don't stand around and get mad at it. Don't hold on to guilt about it. It happens. Laugh at it. Remedy it. Gain your lessons. And in the end, oftentimes they turn out to be good memories. So, that is my story time for today. if you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more stories, hopefully not as crazy as this one, and just other life reflections, product reviews, and so on, please subscribe and like this video and drop a comment. I would love to hear your stories where you felt completely silly. You know, try to make me feel a little better. So I hope that you are having a good day where you are, and I will talk to you again soon.